S.H.FIGUARTS Dragon Ball Super Superhero Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 were released on the 25th of January as a premium Bandai web exclusive and retails for 7,700 yen or $70 US respectively. This is going to be a double review as both figures are essentially the same, with the only differences being the deco, head sculpts, and of course some of the accessories each figure comes with. Oh, and I can't wait to get to those. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll go over everything separately, accessories and all, but when it comes to articulation, I think I'm going to be using Gamma 1 to be my model for that section of the review. Alright, here they are guys, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, two characters I know a lot of fans weren't too excited about, especially with the whole Build-A-Figure Gohan thing, which I'll get into later, but in all honesty, these guys are everything I wanted them to be. Highly articulated, like really highly articulated, fun, out of the ordinary figures with a ton of great accessories, and of course some excellent bonus parts for Gohan, which I feel might have overshadowed the actual figures themselves, but I do really want to focus as much as I can on the Gammas, as there is a lot to like about them, and they definitely deserve the spotlight as well. First things first, as I mentioned, the only difference between these two figures are the head sculpts, both having their own expressions that represent their personalities portrayed in the movie. Gamma 1 was the more serious one, with Gamma 2 being the more flamboyant or more comical. Each Gamma has their signature number sculpted on their chest, as well as donning their respective red, yellow, and blue, yellow color schemes. The character designs, or I guess the costume designs, aren't the most complicated and definitely have a unique look to them. They kind of remind me of the old school Red Army ribbon costumes from Dragon Ball, which I'm sure they were inspired from, but aside from the number logos, the grey buttons, the silver buckle, and the red patches on the side of the arms, everything else is molded colored plastic, with a relatively matte finish besides the shiny boots, which aren't actually black, but a dark indigo color. Then we get to the awesome little blasters and their holsters, which I'll show off in a little more detail later, but the simplicity of the costumes makes for an eye-catching contrast with those blasters. I don't know, I just really like the concept of having these androids using blasters as their beam attacks, something we don't get too much of in Dragon Ball. In terms of faithful representation, I think Tamashii knocked it out of the park. The Gammas are tall, lanky, but are surprisingly really easy to pose. The plastic feels solid, the joints feel tight, and even with their slender design, the plastic quality feels pretty solid. I guess the only thing I'm not too crazy about are the plastic shell capes and the dumbbell ankle joints, which to be honest, aren't as bad as I thought they'd be, but I'd prefer if Tamashii didn't use them at all if that was an option. So these sets of accessories that the Gammas come with for Ultimate Gohan are his base form head and cape with Gamma 2 and the Super Saiyan head with 3 facial expressions that come with Gamma 1. Now I'm not going to get into the politics of the whole situation because I can totally understand both sides of the argument. In saying that, I bought the Gammas for the Gammas, and having these accessories are an added bonus for me personally. A really awesome bonus I might add, but also accessories I feel everyone should have in their collection, or at least have an easier way of getting their hands on. But nevertheless, these heads and the cape are excellent additions to what already is an outstanding figure. So for the base head, it's Gohan as he appears before he taps into his mystic form when he first arrives at the secret Red Ribbon base, still with his glasses, and I absolutely love this look of Gohan. It's just something about this outfit with a Piccolo cape and the purple gi that brings back all those nostalgic memories of Cell Saga Gohan, and just how badass of a character he was at that stage of the Dragon Ball Z series. The purple gi and cape has got to be my favorite look for Gohan. It's a fantastic combination, and I think Tamashii have reproduced that faithfully here in these accessories. The frames of his glasses is a separate piece that is held in with, I'm assuming, a bit of glue. I say assuming because I've actually tried to pull it out and it hasn't come out, but I'm sure you can take them off if you want to. I just didn't, want to pull on it and break anything. You'll probably be left with some dents on the side of his head, but it is an option if you're wondering. I think I might actually like these faces a little more than the faces we got from the actual Ultimate Gohan. I'm not sure if it's the positioning on the eyes or something, but it definitely came out clean. I'm a big fan of Gohan's powered down hair as well. I think it distinguishes his look from his ultimate form and is really well sculpted. I'm glad the designers, and I know it has nothing to do with the figure itself, but I think it's a great idea to give Gohan a different look when he's powered down. I think the cape itself is a step up from Piccolo's cape or any other cape we've gotten in the past. The shoulder pads are made from a softer rubbery plastic, so you get a bit of flex when posing the arms around, but the cape itself is your usual hard plastic shell, and while it looks good in your normal static poses, there really isn't too much you can do with it except, positioning it up and down as it's on a hinge joint. Just one thing to note in case you were wondering, the base form face does fit on the Ultimate Gohan head, but not vice versa. I've tried and the Ultimate Gohan faces are just a little bit too big to fit onto the base form head. Now onto the Super Saiyan heads, which to me look phenomenal. They're everything I prefer in a Super Saiyan head sculpt. The lighter yellow, which to me always signifies an advanced stage of Super Saiyan, like a full power Super Saiyan, which Gohan of course should be at this stage. The head sculpt itself is even a new sculpt. I was expecting it to be just a repaint, but Tamashii have given us a brand new sculpt that is slightly different to his ultimate head with 3 faceplates. You get your normal stern expression, your angry gritting teeth expression, and your shouting expression. And I know I might sound like I'm hating on the original Ultimate Gohan faceplates, which I'm not. I actually do like them, but these Super Saiyan faceplates just got it right. Smaller pupils, ever so slightly thinner eyes, just really small details like this which make a whole lot of difference. I'm really happy the way that the Super Saiyan heads and faces turned out. I just wish the Ultimate heads were as good. And again, I'm not saying that they're bad, but the Super Saiyan heads and faces are just so on point. Alright, so let's take a look at the articulation. So I'm going to be using Gamma 2, just because I like Gamma 2 just that little bit more than Gamma 1. He kind of stood out to me a little bit more in the movie, but essentially they are both the same figure. Again, the only difference being the deco and the head sculpts and accessories. But yeah, let's start off with Gamma 2's head articulation. And he looks up pretty high up there. Really good for those in-flight poses. Those superhero kind of Superman poses that you can get him in. So that works. He can look down pretty far as well. And most of this articulation is assisted by the really good neck joint that he has here. There isn't too much movement going on in the head with the head because the way that I guess the head is sculpted at the back there, it does limit the articulation a little bit, but you are going to get most of that movement, the side to side tilt, the up and down movement with that really free moving neck joint there. You can see it like right there. And of course he does have left and right swivel as well. So the Gammas, they do have some really good butterfly joints. Look at that, like you can get his arms right across his chest. Really good for, I guess, punching or, holding his blaster with both hands, which looks fantastic, looks really natural, or, doing some kind of blast attack poses, anything like that. But really good butterfly joints. These shoulder pieces are on small little ball joints, but they do swivel in and out, so they do get out of the way. No problems there, so you can have Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, hitting a little bit past 90, which is pretty good. And you do have the, 360 rotation there at the shoulder as well. You have your upper bicep cut just below the red ribbon logo. And some really, look at that, double jointed elbows. His hand can touch his shoulders. Fantastic. Something new. I'm not sure if it's new to the S.H.FIGUARTS line, but I don't think I've seen this with any other Dragon Ball figure. If I can get that to focus. There we go, guys. So you know, with a normal, or I guess a standard S.H.FIGUARTS or any kind of import figure, you have the wrist joint going in to the forearm using a straight peg. But with this, it's a ball joint, so you get that kind of added articulation because it has a ball joint in there. So it does, you know, hinge in and out, and it does swivel, but it also, you know, has a lot more movement around in the wrist. And the cuff there, it's kind of cut out, so it does accommodate for really, I guess, deep, almost 90-degree wrist swivels there, which I guess is great for gun wielding hand poses. There's a lot of range, which is fantastic. And of course, you know, you do get your standard swivels and hinges there at the joint, but that added bit of articulation I think is pretty cool. So for his torso ab articulation, the Gammas do get some really fantastic ab crunch. Of course, you're going to get some gappage there at the back, but I mean, he's got his cape there to hide that, and it really doesn't bother me because look at that ab crunch. Fantastic stuff. That's like Spider-Man level ab crunch. Love that. You do get an upper torso swivel. And it is on a ball joint, so you can move it around so that you do get left and right tilt as well. And you do have a ball joint there at the waist. So you do get a lot of movement in the torso, which is fantastic. Of course, the cape is on a hinge. If you can get that to, there we go. It is on a hinge, just like your standard, I guess, Dragon Ball caped characters. Nothing special. There is a bit of a swivel there, but you're not going to get too much movement. The cape here is a hard plastic, so it's a bit of a shell, but the upper piece here is a softer rubber plastic. So it does, you know, give you a bit of flex, moving in and out. I don't know, I kind of wish that the whole cape was made from this same material. I think that would have been, you know, a little bit nicer than having, I guess, a hard shell, but I don't know. It's kind of a love-hate relationship with me. It looks good, like, in a static pose, but when you got, you know, these caped characters in, like, flight poses or fighting poses, you can't really do much with them. I don't know, will I try to swap it out with a cloth cape, with a soft goods cape? I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be too difficult. But, yeah, I mean, it looks good in a static, you know, normal pose, but I do wish that Tamashii would kind of maybe think of maybe another way to kind of get around these caped characters. I don't know, maybe a softer material would be nice, but yeah. Anyway, going back to the articulation, the holster for his blaster is on a ball joint, and it does swivel and it does move around, so you're not going to get too much of a problem when you're posing his legs. And the Gammas do have really good leg articulation. You know, you can almost do the full 180 splits. Fantastic. These skirt pieces here, or I guess the lower half of his jumpsuit, again, is made from this same kind of rubbery plastic material, so it's not going to pose any problem when you're having the Gammas kicking back and forward. And he does have a upper thigh cut as well, which is great. Double knees, again, just really great. Double knee joints, just like his arms. No boot cut, but and usually I really don't like the double dumbbell joint going in from the leg to the foot. I've said this many times that this kind of leg articulation, this kind of foot articulation needs to be updated. But because there's so much clearance in between the calf or the boot and the foot, you get some really good, actually some pretty decent ankle tilt. Again, you do get, you know, that cut there. It's not the smoothest, and it's not the prettiest looking, I guess, ankle articulation, but it does get the job done. And when you're trying to pose, you know, the Gammas flat-footed like that, it does work, and it is pretty stable. So I'm happy with that. I'll forgive it. He does, if you move it too far, it does come off, but it's not too much, there isn't too much movement going down. Again, just like you saw, if you push it too far, the foot will come off, but it does go back on pretty easily. There's more movement going up, I guess. You do get that toe hinge, toe articulation, and yeah, just all round really good articulation for the Gammas. You know, I've said this numerous times in the video now, but these are really, really fun figures to pose around. I'm having a lot of fun, especially, you know, because they have all these really expressive hand accessories, facial expressions, the guns, the blasters. I mean, they're just really cool and really fun to pose around. And yeah, if you guys pre-order these, you guys will definitely enjoy, you know, posing these and displaying these on your shelf as well. So again, excellent articulation for the Gammas. Couldn't be happier. So the best thing about the Gammas accessories is that you can use them on either figure, as they do come with mostly the same, except for the couple of Spider-Man thwippy type hands. And I know they're not thwippy hands, but you know what I mean. They're the hands that Gamma 2 comes with. It's his signature pose, and for Gamma 1 it's the crossed arm accessory, which you can use for either figure. Awesome. So both figures come with a pair of fists, a set of open palm fingers together hands, a pair of open palm hands, and a set of blaster wielding hands with a cool little blaster, each to match. You get a set of 2 for both figures, one that sits in the holster that has a little stub so it doesn't move around and it's pretty secure while it's in there, and of course another for blasting. For heads, we get different expressions for both figures. Gamma 1 comes with 5 interchangeable heads, whilst Gamma 2 only comes with 4. They're all really fun, and they help you recreate all the scenes that you would want from the movie. So are the Gammas the most popular characters in the series? Probably not. But are these figures a whole lot of fun? Yes, they most certainly are. Even more than I expected they would be. The articulation paired with the additional hands and heads make for a pair of really expressive and fun to pose figures. Yes, it does kind of suck if you want the Build-A-Figure Gohan pieces but aren't really interested in the figures themselves. And again, I can't argue against you if you feel any different. Do I think Gohan's accessories should have come with a figure instead? Yeah, probably. But I would have still bought and enjoyed the Gammas regardless. Excellent action figures and a faithful representation of the anime. Would have liked the ankles to be done a little bit different, and the plastic cape is going to be what it is. But that's pretty much it. If you pre-order these guys, if you enjoy the Gammas from the movie, then you're going to have a ball with these figures. And the Gohan accessories just sweetens the deal. And we're not done with the Gohan Build-A-Figure as yet. We'll be getting one more wind-swept hair sculpt and smiling expression faceplate with Broly and Pan. And it was released yesterday that S.H.FIGUARTS Beast Gohan will also come with an extra piece, an extra faceplate for Ultimate Gohan, the faceplate when Gohan goes beast mode, you know, with the dilated red pupils. So far, I've been really happy with the superhero wave of figures. I mean, even the more noticeable repaints like Goku was still some decent releases. I'd say the Gammas are on par with Piccolo, and that's definitely saying something, as he was one of my top 10 figures of last year. So here's to more obscure, fun, new figures from the Dragon Ball line. And that's it, guys. I know it was a lengthy review, basically 3 figures in one video, but thanks for sticking till the end and for making it this far. I'll be back with a couple of other reviews in between now and the Turles review at the end of this month, so hope to see you back for those. Anyway, have a great week. I'm heading to Disneyland tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves out there, and yeah, be good to your mums. As always, yoroshiku.